to become millionaire real estate agents. We're on a path to gross $1 million, then to net $1 million in commissions, then to receive $1 million in commissions, and finally to give away $1 million $1 million a year. Very cool. So I walk like, talk like, think like, and have the checkbook of a millionaire real estate agent. I walk like, talk like, think like, and have the checkbook of a millionaire real estate agent. And I want to kind of pick up where we left off yesterday. We're going to be in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent today, by the way. So if you've got that book, you're good to go. I want to pick up where we left off yesterday, and then we're going to get into a conversation around the 9 ways that a millionaire real estate agent thinks. It's on page 71 if you want to go ahead and jump to the page. All right, what you're seeing on the flip chart, hopefully, we got too many lights on in the room. Can you play with the lights for me? Turn that one off, turn that one on. There we go. That's better. So what we have is we have the path of a real estate transaction, this line, horizontal line going across the page. This dotted line on the right-hand side of the page is the day that a buyer or seller gets serious about buying or selling. And typically it's 7 to 10 days before they're going to put their house on the market. Now, it's just a number. It doesn't mean it's exactly 7 days. It could be a couple of weeks. It might be 4 weeks, but there's a day when we all become serious about buying or selling. Everybody's always thinking about buying or selling real estate. It's just what we do. And approximately 7 to 10 days before we actually put on our house on the market is when we get serious. Now, everything to the right of that line is transaction management. That's what we do to get somebody under contract, showing properties, putting their home on the market, doing property searches, doing CMAs, writing offers, negotiating contracts, contract to close. It's all transaction management. And all of that lives to the right of this line over here. Now, on this line over here, to the left of that is lead generation. We have 3 main buckets that we're working: prospecting, marketing, repeat and referral business. And our job is 20 conversations every single day times 250 days, which means I'm going to have 5,000 real estate conversations in the next 52 weeks. And when I'm having those conversations, I'm creating opportunity that lives in this giant area in the middle. Now, this giant area in the middle is follow-up. This is the key to success. Now, the key to successful follow-up is mindset, because you're going to be tempted to give up. You're going to be tempted to get into judgment. And if you're taking notes, please write down, do not judge away opportunity. Be in curiosity. So you're talking to an expired listing. Right there in front of me. Can you tell I've been up since 3 o'clock? If you live in Coral Springs, how many of you woke up last night to that amazing, incredible thunderstorm that we had? I did. And I woke up thinking it was 5, because that's what time I typically wake up, anywhere between 4:30 and 5 without an alarm clock. Just get up. I go to the kitchen, pour coffee. I'm ready to go. So I looked at the clock and said, oh my God, it's 3 o'clock. Oh, well, I'm up. So it was cool though. All right. So you're talking to a seller. They have a listing that expired, and the seller says, I'm never going to hire you. Cool. Talk to you in 2 weeks. If I ever do list my property, I'm hiring so-and-so. Awesome. Talk to you in 2 weeks. My listing expired at $500,000. And since it didn't sell, I want $600,000 for it. And I'm only paying 1%. Cool. Talk to you in 2 weeks. We judge away opportunity when we start thinking in ways, or we start saying things like, the seller's not motivated. The seller's not serious. They've already got a real estate agent. All of those other limiting beliefs that cause us to get out of follow-up. And the key to success is this area in the center of this drawing on the flip chart here called follow up. And the key to that is following up forever, because we reject rejection, and no is not a word that lives in our vocabulary. No simply means not yet. Remember, people will never change their mind, but what they will do is make a new decision based on new information. All right, page 71, the 9 ways a millionaire real estate agent thinks. Think powered by a big why. Now, if I'm in follow-up and Yagada is one of the people that I'm following up with, and I have a big why, in other words, I have a goal that I have to hit in order to fund my big why. Let's say that big why is paying my bills, feeding my kids, taking care of my family. Then nothing Yagada could say would cause me to give up. Nothing. I have a powerful big why. I'm not going to give up. Now, if you're not sure what your big why is, if that's something that you struggle with, don't sweat it. Make a list of a bunch of little whys, and a bunch of little whys added up together will equal a big why. And you're okay. Think big goals and big models. So big goal, I'm going to run a marathon, right? And the farthest I've ever run in my life is around the block. But I'm going to run a marathon. That's a big goal. Now, a big model, let's say I'm going to run a half marathon. Cool. And the farthest I've ever run is around the block. It's still a big goal. And a big model would be to train to run a marathon. If I'm training to run a marathon in order to run a half marathon, I'm going to pass my goal on the way to 26.2 miles, which is a marathon. And half marathon is 13.1 miles. If I set a goal of running a half marathon and I train to run a half marathon, I might and I might not. But if I train to run a marathon, no question, I'm going to hit the goal. So think big goals and big models. Think of it like this. If you're building a highway, don't wait until you need an 8-lane highway in order to build an 8-lane highway. Start out by building the 8-lane highway. Think possibilities. Anything is possible. Everything is possible. Now, one of the questions that I get a lot when I'm talking to real estate agents is I'll ask, what are your goals? And they'll share with me, well, I don't want to be unrealistic. Almost always, the first thing I'm going to hear, Diane, I don't want to be unrealistic. And my response to that is, why not? Why not? Be unrealistic. Think possibilities. Is it possible? You know, my first year in real estate, I sold one house my first 6 months, right? You guys have heard this story before. You know I'm repetitive, so get over it. Here it comes. I sold one house my first 6 months. And then overnight, I discovered my big why. In other words, real estate became my only source for feeding my family. Now, Colin was 5 years old at the time. Lacey was 6 months old at the time, and we had lots of bills, like most people. And I went from having a corporate job that paid me really good money to in a part-time real estate job where I had sold one home in the previous 6 months to real estate is the only source of income that I have. Now, my goal at that moment, that day, was to figure out a way to earn $200,000 in the next 6 months. Was it realistic? No. Did most people think I was out of my mind? Yes, they did. And I sold 60 houses in the next 6 months. Think possibilities. anything is possible. Everything is possible. Don't worry about how. How will show up. You focus on why. Focus on the activities that will get you there, and how will show up. If you wait until how to show up, you're never going to get started. You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. I'm going to say that again. You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. Think possibilities. Think action. When it's time to act, act. Jump into action. Any time wasted would be lost opportunity. If I take 30 minutes to figure out my plan, okay, it's time to get to work. Now I'm going to take 30 minutes to think about it. In that 30-minute time period, if I'm dial talk, in that 30-minute time period, I could make 15 phone calls easily. I could talk to 3, 4, maybe 5 people easily. And in that 30-minute time period that I'm getting ready to get ready, and I'm not getting into action, I didn't have those conversations. And one of those conversations could have been $1 million listing that I didn't get. It's just that simple. When it's time to get into action, get into action. Work with focus, urgency, and energy. So another story you've heard before, and you're going to hear it again, so get over it. I'm at Disney World for the Disney, help me here, Aaron, I still forget, Disney Christmas Parade? Is that what it's called? Yeah. Aaron says, oh yeah. So I'm guessing that's it. Is that it? Maybe they've changed the name. That was the name 20 some years ago, but it probably, there we go. Holiday Spectacular. Well, there you go. I knew it had a new name. Okay, well, it's got a couple names. I guess it depends on who's there that day, right? All right, that's a bunny trail. Stop it. So anyways, Colin is 3 years old. This is a conversation on taking action. When it's time to act, act. It's a conversation on working with focus and energy. This story is in Rainmaker, which is being printed right now. Very cool. Should be available in the next week or two. And Colin and I are on Main Street. He's standing by my side. He's knee high. He might be 3 years old, maybe 4. And it's late and everybody's tired. And I've got his hand. He's right there by my side. And I've got 2 hot dogs, one for me and one for Colin. And I look down at Colin and I say, hey, buddy, what do you want on your hot dog? And of course, what do you think a 4-year-old wants on their hot dog? Ketchup. Shocker. Why did I ask? Now, I take my hand off Colin for 5 seconds to use both hands to put ketchup on his hot dog and then to hand it back to him. When I go to hand it back to him, he's not there. I'm like, oh my God, my son is missing. Now, do you think I took 30 minutes to figure out a plan in order to go find my son? Did I gather everybody? I say, okay, guys, let's get together and have a conversation about how we're going to do this. Did I stop to look at my phone and say, I'm going to look for my son, but first I'm going to check Facebook. Oh, look, somebody liked my post. I should probably comment on that. Now, I'm being sarcastic, but I'm trying to make a point. Diane says it's a terrible story. I think it's a great story.
Well, it's a great lesson, but it's still like.
It's supposed to cause pain. If you're feeling pain, good. I'm doing my job. I want you to feel pain. Diane says, thank you. Now, I immediately get into action. And as I'm urgently looking for Colin, I'm calling my wife who's outside, my sister, my brother, my mother, my father, my in-laws. They're all there. And as I'm urgently looking for him, we're this Everybody goes into action and we have one focus: find our son. Now, it felt like a lifetime, and it probably was really only maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and we found him. He was in the back of the store sitting on this bench watching cartoons. And I fall to my knees, I'm in tears, I'm hugging him, and he looks at me like, "What is wrong with you?" He's like, "Daddy, I was watching cartoons." I'm like, and what if we worked every day like that? What if you worked like that to find your next listing appointment? What if every day you showed up for work and you looked for the next opportunity with the same urgency that we used in order to find our son? What could you do? What could you do if your life or the life of someone you love depended on you getting a listing appointment today? I promise you, every single one of you would get a listing appointment today. Is it still a terrible story, Diane? Yes, it is. It's okay.
It's a great lesson. Obviously, I just, I can't imagine how you felt like that's why it's terrible.
Yeah, you don't want to. All right, think without fear. Well, that's a good one to follow up that story. So fear or faith, which one controls your life? Because it's one or the other. And you've heard today's story day. You've heard the story of the young man who's sharing with his grandfather a story of fear or faith. And the grandfather shares that there's these 2 dogs that are fighting with one another. One is fear and one is faith. And the son asks, which one wins? And the grandfather's response is, whichever one you feed. And fear or faith, which one is controlling your life? Now, fear, false evidence appearing real, is the belief, it's the faith that something bad is going to happen. It is actually faith in reverse. Faith is the belief that something is good is going to happen, even though you can't see it. Wake up every morning. This is, I forget whose quote this is, so I'll take credit. Wake up every morning with the belief that the world is conspiring to do you good. Think progress. Are you growing? Every day, are you getting a little better than you were the day before? Are you getting a little bit closer to your goal than you were the day before? This is the Chinese bamboo story. You plant a Chinese bamboo seed, year 1, nothing happens. Year 2, same thing. Year 3, same thing. Year 4, same thing. Year 5, it'll grow 90 feet in 6 months. True story. Google it. Now, if you ever stop watering that seed, it's dead. If I give up at any point during this follow-up period between lead generation, lead opportunity, follow-up to create emotional proximity until the buyer or seller gets serious about buying or selling their home, if at any time I listen to what they're saying and I stop following up, done. Think progress. Are you moving closer to your goals? Think competitively and strategically. Turn everything into a game and play to win. Are you competitive? I am. Turn everything into a game and play to win. Keep score. If you walk into my office, you're going to see scoreboards everywhere. Scoreboards make life fun. I'm a football fanatic. Love the game, love sports. So soccer, swimming, tennis, whatever your sport is. I love competition. Competition would be boring without scoreboards. If I went to a football game, as much as I love the sport, I would be bored if there wasn't a scoreboard. Keep score, play to win. Think strategically, play chess, not checkers. Think standards. Standards are the key to success. Live up to those standards. How many people you talk to every day is a standard. How you answer the phone is a standard. Whether you have a voicemail when somebody calls you or not is a standard. If I call you and your phone says you have reached 954-555-1212, well, that's a standard. If you have an outgoing voicemail that says, thank you for calling Yagada with Keller Williams Realty. I appreciate your call and I'm busy, blah, 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 whatever. That's a standard. How you answer the phone is a standard. Everything is a standard. Set standards, set higher standards, think bigger. And then finally, think service. Read Raving Fans by Ken Blanchard. Deliver raving fan customer service so that everybody who works for you becomes part of your fan club and they sing your praises everywhere they go. If somebody asks them, do you know a good real estate agent? Diane Schuster, she's the bomb. She's the Diet Coke of real estate. Do you know another good real estate agent? Nope, Diane Schuster, she's it. My goal script. If I'm sitting at the kitchen table with you, thank you for hiring me. Can I share my goal with you? My goal is that at the end of this experience, when we're sitting at the closing table, you will be so happy with the service that I've provided that you would never buy or sell another home without talking to me first. And almost out of a sense of obligation to your friends and family members, if you knew any of them were going to buy or sell, you would tell them to talk to John Dietz first. If that's how you feel at the end of this sale, then I've succeeded. I've hit my goals. Yagada, talk to me. Hands up. Been up for a while. Sorry for not calling on you quicker.
Oh, no, that's fine. I wanted just to say something, if the analogy could be used with just the repetitive actions that we do every day and not giving up. The analogy of a gambler, because a gambler really, I know it's not very good for your finances, but they do not give up and eventually they do win.
I love that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yagada, I love it. I mean, if the odds are 1,000,000 to 1, cool. That just means I need to do it 1,000,000 times and I win, right? Yeah,
Right, exactly.
I'm good with that. I really am. Yeah, you're good. You're good, right? And then you know what? I'm totally cool with that analogy. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Going. Yes,
One question.
talk to me.
False evidence, what was the A? Appearing real?
False evidence appearing real. That is correct. Diane, talk to me.
It's a terrible story because I'm a mom, so like that's where I come from. But
Mhm.
when I think about the context and how it relates to real estate, it's a brilliant story because I've been through a similar situation, just not as extreme as that, but it's true. And I think in one of your Zooms throughout the year during COVID, you talked about a bridge. Like if your family was on the other side of the bridge and the bridge was shaky and yet like you knew they were in trouble. There was some, you used that analogy or that example, you know, would you stop and use your phone or would you run across to save them or if the house is burning or whatever. So it's just that, you know, when you told that story for the first time about your son at Disney World and then the duck story, the funniest thing is that the reason I went back to the office and said, we are going to call like we are missing one of our kids.
Yeah.
And that's literally what we would say every day.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It works. It absolutely works. Thank you for sharing that. By the way, the bridge analogy is for finding your big why.
Oh, okay.
And the question is, if I'm standing on one side of the bridge, you're on the other, it's one of those rope bridges and it's not very sturdy. It's going to probably break. and it's 10,000 feet down. And I asked you, hey, if I gave you $100, are you crossing the bridge? No way. No way. If I offered you $1,000, are you crossing the bridge? Still no, I'm not anyways. If I offered you $1 million, I don't know about you, but I'm still not doing it. If I have your child and your child's going over the cliff, if you don't cross the bridge, are you crossing? Yeah,
Hell
you
yeah.
are. Yeah, you are. Yeah. You found your big why, right? Vicky, talk to me.
Okay, guys, happy Friday. I love this. This is so inspirational that I'm going to just give you just what I just wrote down. And anyway, so you are the only one standing in your way. And you choose the life that you want to live. No one else. Get out of your comfort zone, you know, because nothing's going to grow in that zone.
Good job,
And
Vicky.
believe big, think big goals, just like you said.
Yep. Good job, Vicky. Yeah, I love what you shared. And guys, for those of you who have children, share this with your kids. It's the butterfly effect. You never know if you're having a conversation with someone, one conversation can change somebody's life. And you can change the world with one conversation. Don't think, oh, I'm going to tell so-and-so about this, and then not. Do it. All right, Jonathan, good morning. Well, congratulations on your new listing. Super proud of you.
Yay!
Yeah. Vicky Bloomingdale, who hasn't been in the room for a couple of weeks now, but doing incredible. And I know she has 2 new listings. So congratulations to Maria Bloomingdale. I think I said Vicky.
Yay, Maria!
I'm looking at Vicky's name on the screen. Maria Bloomingdale. Like, who's Vicky Bloomingdale, right?
I've been speaking to her and I am so proud of her. Good job.
Yeah, I agree. All right, everybody, it's Friday. It's time to get to work, right? And work is 20 conversations, not 19, not 18, not 17. Because when you settle for 17 conversations, you don't have the 18th conversation, which could have been $1 million listing that you didn't get because you didn't have the conversation. Make care calls, not sale calls. Always lead with gratitude. Bring value to every single relationship. Focus on getting an appointment, getting a referral, adding somebody to your database, and building a relationship. Find somebody today that is thinking of selling their home, whether it's next week, 30 days from now, 6 months from now, or a year from now, doesn't matter. You're looking for opportunity, period. Not opportunity right now, opportunity. And then follow up forever, because you reject rejection, and no is not a word that lives in your vocabulary. No simply means not yet. Remember, people will never change their mind, but what they will do is make a new decision based on new information. And when you follow up forever, you're creating emotional proximity, which means they're going to hire the person who's closest to them when it comes time to make a decision. And because you followed up forever, you created an opportunity for them to make a new decision, which, Lucas,
Yes, sir.
that new decision will be to
Hire me.
there you go.
There you go.
Love it. Guys, make sure you